I get asked this question all the time. How did you get your job with the Cowboys? And I want to use this video as an opportunity to go into as much depth as possible about how that opportunity came to be. It all started in the summer of 2023. I was a player development intern for Alabama football, and that was the time in between my undergraduate studies at Alabama and my graduate school studies at Alabama. And I had a cadence, a routine that summer of connecting with as many sports industry professionals on LinkedIn as possible and scheduling 2 to 3 phone calls with those individuals each and every single week. And I made it a priority to connect with people from all different cities, with all different organizations and all different roles. Because at the time, I knew I wanted to work in sports, but that's not good enough. I want to be more specific. I want to be more precise about what role I want to have, what city I want to live in, even what organization I want to work for. Because the sports industry is huge. It's just like any industry. The organizations within the sports industry are structured just like any organization in the business world. There's all different departments. And so when you're getting ready to graduate from college, undergraduate or graduate, you want to know what specific facet of a sports organization you want to work for. Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it compliance? Is it media? You've got to know that. And you've also got to know, where do you want to live? Do you want to be in the South? Do you want to be out West? Do you want to live in the Northeast, the Midwest, Texas, you name it? You want to be as specific and particular about that as possible. And so I scheduled calls with people who work in compliance, people who work in sales, people who work in marketing, people who work for the Saints, people who work for the Astros, people who work for the Marlins, the Heat, the Grizzlies, you name it, to just pick their brain about what they do on a day-to-day basis, what they think of the culture of the organization that they work for, how they got to where they are, and this one's important right here, what success looks like in their role. People love that question because it shows that you're genuinely curious and inquisitive about their role. Most importantly, it shows that you're being intentional about building rapport, building a relationship, being authentic. You're not being transactional. You don't want to reach out to people on LinkedIn just asking for a job. How do I get a job with X organization? Ask them what they do, what they think of it, where they see themselves in 5 years. Be intentional about building a relationship with those people that you connect with on LinkedIn. And that's exactly what I did. And I was able to build some meaningful relationships that are going to last a lifetime. And I'm incredibly grateful for that and those people. But I also want to make it a point that, calls aren't going to go swimmingly every time. You may call someone and within the first 5 minutes really come to the conclusion that you don't connect that well, there's not much chemistry, it's hard to build rapport. We're all people with different qualities, and so we're not going to mesh with every person that we talk with. But on the flip side, there's going to be those calls that go extremely well, and you click with the person on the other line instantly. And that's when those connections build, and that's when opportunities surface. That's exactly what happened to me when I called Hannah Rich, who's a sales consultant for the Dallas Cowboys. This happened in August of 2023. I casted a wide net for all the different people that I talked with in the sports industry that summer. I talked with a lot of different people. But the call with Hannah Rich was the one that changed my life forever. And I'm really grateful for her, and I'm really grateful for the relationship that I have with her to this day. She's been a fantastic mentor of mine. And so, coincidentally enough, she, like myself, went to the University of Alabama. And so, we automatically had something to relate upon. That started as the foundation of our relationship. And the call that we had, it just went fantastic. We clicked from the jump. We had a great conversation, and it led to Hannah connecting me with more people in the Cowboys organization. And she put in a good word for me. And that's something I really appreciate as well. And so I had conversations with other people in the Cowboys organization as well in sales, and I made a great impression on those people. I went into those calls well prepared about what they do, the questions I want to ask, and the conversations just flow naturally. They were all great people as well, and so I just got more and more plugged in. I was on a call with one individual that works with the Cowboys, and I was filled in on the Legends Global Sales Training Camp. And that's for anybody who wants to get their foot in the door in the sports industry, most specifically in sales. The Legends Global Sales Training Camp fills people in on all different aspects of sales, whether it's group sales, inside sales, foundation sales, international sales. The Legends Global Sales Training Camp gives an all-encompassing view on what sales in the sports industry looks like and what opportunities are out there with Legends and beyond. Legends is a company that works in hospitality, sales, ticketing, you name it. It's a multi-faceted company, and it's a union between the Cowboys organization, the Jones family, and the Yankees organization, the Steinbrenner family. I participated in the Legends Global Sales Training Camp, and it was the best decision of my entire life. I met some amazing people, learned a lot, but most importantly, I connected with my now boss, Nick Ackles, and it's crazy how the story came to be. We were divided into groups in the Legends Global Sales Training Camp, and we were tasked with a project. You want to identify a sports organization out there who was adjusting something about the organization, whether it's ticketing, whether it's building a new club, building a new stadium. We were tasked with that, and we had to come up with a solution in 12 or 14 slides with our team. There was like 12 or 13, 14 people on each team, and there was a group leader. Well, our group's leader was Nick Ackles, who is my now boss with Legends at AT&T Stadium and the Cowboys. And I went on my way to connect with him. I held a phone call with him one day in the fall of 2023 during the Legends Global Sales Training Camp. And it was just like my call with Hannah. We clicked immediately and automatically built a relationship. And it still lasts to this day. Nick is a fantastic boss. I'm really grateful for him. And it eventually led to me being able to schedule a visit to AT&T Stadium to meet the sales staff with both Legends at AT&T Stadium downstairs and the Cowboys sales staff upstairs. There's two different teams with the Cowboys in AT&T Stadium. I also went on my way to demonstrate leadership in our group at the Legends Global Sales Training Camp, and Nick noticed that as well, and he tells me to this day that went a long way in the decision to hire me in the bullpen, the Legends sales team at AT&T Stadium. And so I went and took that visit in November of 2023, met all those people in the Cowboys sales team and the Legends sales team at AT&T Stadium, and don't get me wrong, it was overwhelming. I shook a lot of hands that day, met a lot of people, absorbed a lot of information, but I could also tell that it was the beginning of something truly special. And I could just tell from the culture and the vibe there that was genuinely a place that I want to work at. And so I follow up with everyone after that visit, maintain the conversation, text, emails, calls, maintain that cadence. And then March of 2024 came along, and I got that email from Nick, the invitation to interview for a job as an account executive for Legends at AT&T Stadium for the Cowboys. Of course, no brainer. I took it, and that interview process was crazy as well. There was 5 different stages of being interviewed by 2 different people who work on that sales team. 2 different people in each stage, and there were 5 stages. It was a 2-hour interview process, but it was very well worth it because I was informed about a week later that I got the job. And so the process then became, finding an apartment out in the DFW area and moving out to start on May 22nd, which was just a few weeks after my graduation from the University of Alabama. I still work in that role to this day. And I'm incredibly grateful to be a part of such an amazing team of fantastic people. It's an amazing culture that we have in our office. But the moral of the story is I casted a wide net from a networking standpoint in the sports industry. I talk with as many people as possible, and I was intentional about building those meaningful relationships with people in the sports industry. It led me to where I'm at now. I treasure my role, but I treasure those relationships even more. Those relationships are the gold that we all seek. I also want to make it a point that, I started almost a year before I got the job laying down the groundwork for the job at AT&T Stadium with the Cowboys. And so if you're a sophomore in college and you want to work in sports, start to maintain that cadence of connecting with people on LinkedIn and scheduling calls now. Schedule 2 to 3 calls every week. That's realistic if you know that's what you want to do. I was a late entrant into the sports industry. I didn't decide that that's the path I wanted to take until junior year going into my senior year at Alabama. And so I was quote unquote behind. I felt like I was on the outside looking in for a while. Like even when I was interning for the football team, I felt like I was on the outside looking in. But it was those calls and those relationships that got my foot in the door more and more. And now I'm officially in the industry. And so get started as early as possible, because the longer time goes on and the closer you get to graduation, the harder it will be, because you want to build those relationships early, because those relationships will lead to opportunities. But if you wait too late, those relationships will feel more forced and more transactional. So start as early as possible. That's all I've got. That's the story. I hope that y'all enjoy it. And if you ever want to connect with me to learn more about how I got my job at the Cowboys, don't be afraid to shoot me a message in the comment section below here, or connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Brian Gregoire, exactly how it's spelled in the title here at The Air with Brian Gregoire. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you really got something out of this. Have a great day.